On today's episode of the Cryptoverse, there's an update on the $30 million hack on Tether, there's a new manufacturer of Bitcoin mining hardware in town, and rumor has it, Bitstamp may add support for Bitcoin Cash. All of that and a mini market roundup on today's episode of the Cryptoverse, so stay right there. Hi there guys, welcome to the latest episode of the Cryptoverse, your regular dose of news and commentary on Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies and blockchains. I'm your host, Chris Coney. So an official update from Tether regarding their hack. They call the article on their blog, Update on Security Incident. But anyway, they make it clear here that no Tether customers or users actually lost any money. The $30 million that was stolen was taken from the company's own treasury after someone hacked into the hot wallet, right? Which is the money that's not in cold storage, right? So they say here they are confident they have found the hole in their system that was used to steal the coins, and they are now upgrading their systems. They also say with regards to their solvency, they say another audit is underway by this Friedman LLP. And while that's taken longer than they would like, this accounting firm has issued an interim report showing Tether has enough money to back the tethers that they have issued. However, down here where it lists the interim consulting memorandums, they call it, which is this thing, this is the same one that I reported on last time. It's way back from, it's dated September the 28th. So that's not new to me, you know what I'm saying? Anyway. So moving on, overall, this auditing process is far too slow, in my opinion, because it means Tether could be insolvent for like 3 to 6 months while the audit is going on and no one would know it, right? I'm not even sure what the solution is to that, because you can't have real-time streaming bank balances for Tether's banks, can you? I don't know what the solution is to that. With regards to who they bank with, though, they do mention this as well. Further down, under the further issues section, they say they cannot reveal who their banks are in order to protect their customers. Now, it is true that some US banks, when they find out that you are dealing with Bitcoin, they go so far as to just close your account, right? So let's say we believe everything Tether is saying, right? Despite that, I'm going to agree with what that fellow from the Crypto Investor YouTube channel has said. The US government is just not going to tolerate a private company using its own or issuing its own dollar-backed currency without the government's permission, right? We saw what happened to Bernard von Nothaus and his Liberty dollar, didn't we? So even if Tether is operating a completely legitimate business with full reserves and all the rest of it, there's something more fundamental than that, which Mr. Crypto Investor pointed out, which is the feds are just not going to tolerate currency competition if they can help it. And because Tether is a corporation, that's a point of attack. So there we go. Next story, quick bit of news good news actually, about Bitcoin mining decentralization. So check this out. Bitcoin.com have reported on this, and there's a few other news outlets reporting on this as well. Bitcoin.com call this article the curious case of the new Dragonmint Bitcoin miner. So the long and the short of this is that in March of 2018, a new manufacturer of Bitcoin mining hardware is due to release the Dragonmint 16T. Kind of sounds like a breath refresher, doesn't it? But anyway, it claims to perform 30% better than its rivals. And the reason this is particularly good news is because many people in the Bitcoin community complain about how much power Bitmain have just because of the size of the market share that they have for making and selling Bitcoin mining hardware. As ever, more competition is better. And then the third story I want to talk about is Bitstamp considering support for Bitcoin Cash. Now this isn't very solid news in my opinion. This article is coming from btcmanager.com. This news is most likely why the price of Bitcoin Cash got pumped yesterday quite a bit. Now Bitstamp is a significant exchange. They were one of the first Bitcoin exchanges to be legally recognized and hence licensed in the European Union. Now, this article on btcmanager.com, the headline says, Bitstamp to support Bitcoin Cash by December, but then nowhere else in the article does the word December appear, right? All we really have is a quote from the CEO that says here, Bitstamp CEO has said that the exchange will keep a close eye on the market and user demand for Bitcoin Cash. If the currency's popularity is proven in terms of its perceived trading volume, then Bitstamp will list it and allow trading. He went on to note that the exchange carefully evaluates each cryptocurrency that it decides to list by analyzing the market conditions and the currency's technical background. So that's all we've got to go on. So it's a rumor right now. There is something else though. We know whenever a coin gets listed on a new exchange, it often gets a price pump because like a new batch of capital flows in, and it has nothing to do with the fundamentals per se. I also saw a tweet from Jeffrey Tucker, you know, the guy that founded Liberty.me. I'm interested in getting everyone's view on this actually, so let me just pull up the tweet. Here it is, Jeffrey Tucker from yesterday about Hapus4. He says, I'm thinking that the critics of Bitcoin Cash are not looking good. No pump and dump sustains like this. Bitcoin Cash is useful right now, wallets are online and good to go. Well, never mind the second part of that about the usefulness. Just take the first bit where he says, I'm thinking that the critics of Bitcoin Cash are not looking good. This bit, no pump and dump sustains like this. So in a mo, when we transition to the market roundup, we will look at the Bitcoin Cash price chart. But for now, if you've got a comment on that, stick it in the comments below. Rightio, let's transition to the market roundup, courtesy of OCFX.com. Biggest winners of the day, we have Gnosis, up 16.35% on the day to $88.22. Bitcoin Cash, one of the biggest winners of the day, up 8.84%. Here it says $1,700, not quite true, we'll look at the chart in a mo. Obviously these are just snapshot figures. We've got the H shares, you know, H Cash, up 7% itself as well. Decred up 5.85%, I did buy some Decred the other day. And Economy up 5.44% to $1.48. Economy were in touch with me like yesterday saying, are you aware of our project? And I said, yes, indeed. I've featured it a number of times, so we may have Economy on for an interview so we can grill them. Biggest losers of the day. We've got some double-digit losers right here. We've got IOTA down to 75 cents, which is a loss of 16.25%. We've got the old Tron down to, what's that, 0.2 cents, down 10% on the day. BitShares taking a bit of a hard fall, 10% down on the day to 13 cents. BitShares did have a major pump recently, so that's a reasonable correction right there. And the other two biggest losers are Factom. Again, Factom had a good day the other day, now down to $21.29, having lost 7.7%. And Dogecoin, down to 0.18 cents. So that's a fraction of a cent. I think that's why OCFX lists it like that. Dogecoin having lost 6.91% of its value in the last 24 hours. That was a rapid fire market roundup right there. Now let's do some chart readings for Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and then Monero, so we can keep this video time under control. So let's do Bitcoin Cash. Make sure I put myself on the right side of the screen here. Here we go. This is what Jeffrey Tucker is talking about. So after the difficulty adjustment, that massive price pump there was when Bitcoin Cash hard forked. There was like the flippening. Oh my God, it didn't happen. And then the price was pretty flat, pretty flat for those several days there. Like straight up horizontal line trending to the consolidation in a channel. Perfect. And then of course 2 days ago it took off. So it went right from just under this 61 Fibonacci line to which was 1253 it started out at, and it broke that resistance, and then it went right up to what was the high of today. High of today was 1777. Pretty good. That's the all-time high if you discount that massive pump from the 12th of November when there was the hard fork upgrade. So next line of resistance here, according to the Fibonacci lines, are the 38% level at 1844. Moving on to Bitcoin then. Bitcoin is holding steady sideways since it broke above 8,000. I've left my Fibonacci lines here. The previous all-time high before the recent moves was 78.83. That's looking at reasonable support on the downside, and it's now hovering around the 8100, 8200 mark. The actual all-time high from a few days ago was 8,380, so that is technically the all-time high from the last week. Now a floor would be 8,000. It's pretty solid there, holding around 8,000. If it were to retrace, then I can't really say at the minute. I'd have to redraw my Fibonacci lines to say that. But for now, I think 8,000 is going to be pretty good support because it's attempted to go down it a couple of times in the last few days and has failed. So 8,000 looking pretty good. Now, Ethereum was a big story yesterday. It experienced a really nice pump, and people were saying, finally, we've been holding Ethereum waiting for this big old pump. If I just zoom out a touch here, I drew this great big wedge, long-term wedge, right? And it was consolidating, and then it actually blew out of a sideways movement. I was saying on the market roundup about how sideways Ethereum was and how stable the price was for like a good month, and then it completely took off yesterday. So it actually took off the day before as well. It broke a 78% Fibonacci level at $350. And then the key thing, in my opinion, is it broke out of this big old wedge pattern that I drew to the upside and then broke its previous all-time high, which was $395, to set a new all-time high for Ethereum of $426. A few people have been predicting a $500 Ethereum by the end of the year. I don't think that's unrealistic. We've still got a good 5 weeks to go, and there may be some enthusiasm towards the end of the year. And interesting that if Ethereum is going up like this, that obviously makes ICOs wealthier if they've held on to the Ethereum that they've collected. But it also means if you put money into an ICO yesterday, you would likely get more coins for your money, unless it's priced in Ether, in which case, not the case. I was looking at the Mobius ICO actually, and they were pricing everything in dollars. So you entered an amount in dollars that you wanted to pledge to the ICO, and then it would quote you an amount of Ether. And because I did that yesterday, I got a decent leverage because the purchasing power of Ethereum yesterday was at an all-time high. So it was kind of a decent time to put it in there. Then let's look at Litecoin, because Litecoin is finally on the move once again. I've stuck myself a little uptrending channel here. Litecoin was previously stuck below like $50. Then it was stuck below $60. It broke the 50% fib line at $63. Rallied up to $70, which was its 61% Fibonacci line, and is now looking at good support around $70. Next stop will be $80, strangely enough, because that's the 78% fib line, and then from there we will be looking at $95 at the 100% retracement line. I saw a few discussions on Twitter, and people were saying, you know, if they don't see a $100 Litecoin by the end of the year, they'll eat their hat. I think they said something more extreme than that, but eat my hat is more akin to the family show that we do over here. And then Monero. I'm still slightly annoyed that I didn't bring myself to buy some Monero. I've been wanting to buy some Monero forever, but what I'm waiting for, as I've said before, is support for the Ledger Nano S to store Monero. I just can't bring myself to put all those resources into running a Monero node. Well, there's a cost to that, right? Which is missing this rally. Because probably back here, I was flapping my gums saying, yeah, I'm going to buy some Monero. I'm going to increase my holdings in Monero. But I'm waiting for the Ledger Nano S to support it. Well, that's the cost of procrastination right there. Boom. Right from $87 to an all-time high of $173. So Monero rocking the house right about now. It did retrace, and it's retracing now, and it's sitting on its previous all-time high of $155. So that could be now the new support line for Monero. Can you believe it? Alrighty then, guys, thank you very much for joining me today. If you liked this episode, go ahead and hit that like button, and if you're new around here, get subscribed. And if you would like access to my very best material, such as my step-by-step online courses that will teach you things like how to make and save money with Bitcoin, check out my website, which is cryptoversity.com, and you can click on courses and take any one of the online courses that were made by my good self. Alright guys, that is all for today. I'll be back tomorrow with another episode of the Cryptoverse. So until then, it's me, Chris Coney, saying bye for now.